Welcome to Beyond the Coverage. I'm Chris Horner. It's March 26th. Why am I back for round two? Well, you guys thought I was napping and forgot to mention that Tadej Pogačar has announced that he's doing Paris-Roubaix. No, I didn't. I just didn't want to taint and interrupt my other flow, the butterfly effect, so I bring you guys Beyond the Coverage so we could talk about a little bit more detail about Tadej Pogačar arriving at Paris-Roubaix and how can he win. Well, first off, he's erased off the list of E3 Saxo Bank, so we're going to have to watch Wout van Aert race over there and see what kind of legs he's got. Hopefully, Wout van Aert dominates over there, and then we see everyone showing up at Paris-Roubaix on some fantastic form. What does Tadej Pogačar got to do? First off, if you go back, of course, in the Milan-San Remo, I said Tadej Pogačar did too much. Certainly spent a bit too much time on the front. Should have relaxed a little bit more on the Cipressa once he made the selection, along with the other two riders. We're talking Filippo Ganna and Mathieu van der Poel, the winner of Milan-San Remo. Relax just a little bit, Tadej Pogačar. Allow those two riders to do some more work at Milan-San Remo. Then when you get into the Poggio, if they've done a little bit more work and up the Cipressa, over the top of the Cipressa, down the descent, the 9 kilometers along the coast there, then you start hitting the Poggio, then you start lighting everyone up. So now we fast forward, we go into Paris-Roubaix. What do you have to do at Paris-Roubaix? Well, first off, the difference between Paris-Roubaix and Milan-San Remo is bad luck. We all know it, right? So there's a good chance that Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel will be the riders to dictate the pace and try making the selections. Always in years past, it has certainly come from Wout van Aert. And if not Wout van Aert, it came from Mathieu van der Poel. So Tadej Pogačar, be in the right place at the right time. Allow those riders to make the selection and allow them to drive it on the cobblestone sections. The deeper you get into Paris-Roubaix, the more tired the legs will become. But if Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert can do a section or two before we get deep into the Carrefour sections, then they can start doing more work on the front, or at least even work on the front as much as Tadej Pogačar is doing at least. Then you get into Carrefour, the most devastating sections of cobblestones late in Paris-Roubaix, and then Tadej Pogačar has to light people up. But he does have one other thing on his side or against him. Anyone can flat, anyone can crash. At Milan-San Remo, that's not necessarily the case, unless you ask Tom Pidcock, who of course went down in the crash at the start of the Cipressa. So that can happen anywhere throughout the race to Tadej Pogačar, Wout van Aert, or Mathieu van der Poel. If one of those riders flats deep into the race, that is the opportunity that Tadej Pogačar needs. Now, most likely, both aren't going to flat at the same time, so then Tadej Pogačar gets the selection made if it happens to Wout van Aert or Mathieu van der Poel, not Tadej Pogačar himself. The selection is made, and then Wout van Aert or Mathieu van der Poel, whoever didn't, has to work a lot with Tadej Pogačar, which means once you get deep into Paris-Roubaix section, that's the time when Tadej Pogačar has to light them up. I think it's Carrefour d'Aubray. So if we look at the course, Tadej Pogačar has to be something spectacular, and luck has to be on everybody's side. If all three riders are there, Tadej Pogačar, don't pull. Make Wout van Aert, make Mathieu van der Poel do some extra work, and then start playing tactical games. If Mathieu van der Poel attacks, make Wout van Aert pull him back. If Wout van Aert attacks, make Mathieu van der Poel do most of the work to pull back Wout van Aert. Then light these guys up and do some counterattacks. But do not go to the line. Do not go to the velodrome trying to win the sprint like you did at Milan-San Remo. Got to sit on and wait and attack every section you possibly can deep into the race. Not early. Let those guys do early. Let their teams do the work early. Then attack deep in the last opportunities. And then, of course, try to come in the velodrome solo, because coming into the line with Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert, tricky scenario. But remember, Wout van Aert's going to have Jasper Phillips in there too. Has he recovered from his crash? Didn't look so good at Milan-San Remo, but Paris-Roubaix comes later. That's enough time for him to recover. Tadej Pogačar's got to play a perfect tactical game to win Paris-Roubaix, but Lady Luck might be on his side too. If we see some accidents, if we see some crashes, Tadej Pogačar gets that instant window on his competition that he couldn't get there at Milan-San Remo. I think it's a great opportunity for Tadej Pogačar, and probably easier to win at Paris-Roubaix than it is to win at Milan-San Remo. But who knows? It's going to be an exciting classic campaign. Finally, we get a big-time GC rider showing up at the classics. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the butterfly effect real soon for Catalonia.